Detention basins offer a highly efficient means of managing stormwater during infrequent but intense storm events, holding the excess water only until it can safely be returned to the drainage infrastructure network. However, these basins require significant area, are typically closed off to the public, and don't offer many benefits to the community or ecosystem. But what if they could? And what would that look like? Take for instance the 2.7-acre detention basin at the northwest corner of Lomas and Broadway in downtown Albuquerque. Right now, it's basically a big hole in the ground at a very prominent intersection. As Albuquerque only sees an average of 50 days of rain per year, this basin's actually only in service for 10% of the time. But what about the other 90% of the year when the space is not in service? And what about all that water? Could we take advantage of the 15 acre-feet that inundates the basin during each event and use it to create something more? The Water Cathedral is a response to this challenge and may serve as a prototype for detention basins around the world, especially in denser urban areas where extra space isn't always available. The purpose of this project was to reimagine what a traditional stormwater detention basin could be and to create a place of refuge for urban inhabitants, both human and non-human alike. It also seeks to showcase critical water infrastructure and hydrology processes by celebrating the ephemeral storm events that activate the basin, fostering opportunities for people to interact with what is typically hidden away or not easily understood. The overall design framework is driven by the site hydrology and uses both passive and active stormwater management techniques. In addition to maintaining the original function of the basin, several other strategies are utilized. The first, stormwater from the surrounding roadways at the top of the basin is conveyed and infiltrated through a continuous swale which supports a vegetated buffer around the site. The overflow is then carried into the larger basin. Secondly, the bottom of the primary basin is comprised of a series of smaller connected microbasins that allow for increased infiltration time after the flooded basin has emptied. The third is a system of vertical cisterns located at the center of each microbasin, designed to capture and store a large percentage of the stormwater that inundates the basin during each event, storing water vertically rather than horizontally. The planting palette and landscape typologies are based on inundation tolerance and the basin's frequency and intensity of inundation. For example, less tolerant species are placed at higher elevations where the basin water level does not usually reach. More hydrophilic species are cultivated in the microbasins at the lower elevations where inundation will be more frequent. The primary active water storage features are the habitat cisterns, designed to function like trees, soaking up water when activated by flooding and slowly releasing it to support their foliage while serving as a roost for avian and bat species. Collectively, they store 576,000 gallons or 1.75 acre-feet when full, adding almost 12% to the basin's normal capacity. From just one large event, the habitat cisterns can provide enough water to be used throughout the year to irrigate and sustain the surrounding habitat areas with zero reliance on potable water. In looking at the elevations of the project, we can now see in more detail how the various water management strategies are interconnected and apply the principles of GSI and LID. Additionally, elements such as the observation deck, boardwalk, and the striking forms of the habitat cisterns demonstrate how this new typology can create interest to provide an effective means of interacting with water infrastructure and urban wildlife. Resembling the ruins of a Gothic cathedral, the column-shaped habitat cisterns create an appealing aesthetic and sense of enclosure, offering an experience of promenade along a central axis to the drainage outlet of the basin as a focal point and art piece, or altar, symbolic of the preciousness of water in the desert. With a raised boardwalk surrounding the drainage structure, the basin is also accessible even when the residual stormwater has not completely infiltrated. In closing, infrastructure doesn't have to be boring and sterile. It can be much more, and the Water Cathedral shows us proof of that. When it's dry, let's make it a usable space. When it's flooded, let's celebrate the valuable function it plays in keeping us safe while at the same time reusing and returning every possible drop to the surrounding soils, not someplace far downstream. So the next time you pass this site, or one like it, please ask yourself, or perhaps the flood control engineer sitting next to you, what more could it be, and what can we do to help?